Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We're going to be painting a adorable little baby chick just in time for Easter, so grab your supplies and let's get started. You can see that I've already sketched out my little chick here, and I'm going to quickly show you how to draw it. It's very easy. So essentially all you're doing here is drawing two circles on top of one another. The first one is a little bit smaller. The second one is going to be a little bit bigger, and you're just going to, if it's easier for you, you can overlap them like so, and then just use a eraser to erase the overlapping portion that is on the smaller circle. And then all you have to do is add a little beak, add a little eye, and then add a line at the bottom for the little legs, and then the second leg, because we want this bird or the little chick to look like it's walking, it's going to be much shorter, and the little claws coming off it are going to be much shorter and smaller as well. And it's just as easy as that. Once you have that drawn out, you're welcome to just erase it so that it's barely visible, so that it's just visible enough for you to see the lines, but not so intense that it shows through the watercolor. So just keep that in mind. And then we're just going to grab our watercolors. So you can use any variety of yellows or oranges, whatever suits your fancy here. We're going to be painting this a little bit differently than we did those Easter bunnies. If you watched last week's tutorial, I think I'm not sure what order I'm going to be uploading these, but my cute Easter bunny tutorial. Instead of filling in the whole thing, we're going to be a little bit more methodic about how we do this. So starting with the top circle, we're just going to paint some of our yellow kind of towards the top here, ending just where the beak starts. And again, we're going to start about halfway, like on the bottom portion of our first circle, about halfway to the right. And we're just going to continue on and following our circle about to around here, just in line with our eye. And we're going to continue this. We're going to drag some of that color onto our second circle. And that's going to follow almost down to our right foot, the right foot of the little chick. And we're going to just add a little stripe of yellow on the left side of the bottom circle, basically to that left foot, ending where that left foot is. And this is sort of the highlight, I guess, that we want to maintain. So you can kind of darken it a little bit, either with a darker orange or a little bit of orange. Sorry, I'm not sure if I said darker yellow or darker orange. So you can use darker yellow or a little bit of orange. And then before that dries, so you do want to work fairly quickly, you just want to spread that out, or not necessarily spread it out, but just sort of carry it with a water-filled brush and fill in basically the rest of the shape. But because we let that watercolor sit in those highlighted portions for a little bit longer, we hope that, the hope is that those highlighted portions will be maintained. If not, we can always go back and fix that just by lifting off some of the watercolor and then simply drying our brush on a paper towel and lifting a little bit more off, and just repeating this process until we're, happy with how it looks. So with this bottom portion, we're doing the same thing. We're just dragging out our highlighted portions. We want the non-highlighted portions to be almost white, but we do want it to be a nice gradual gradient rather than it being this really harsh highlight. Like if I just let this dry, that wouldn't look great. So we do want to, blend it so that it's a nice gradient that's coming out. like so. That's already coming along quite nicely. You can even add a little bit of brown to that yellow in those highlighted portions. I would probably recommend maybe a little bit more brown than orange, actually. So if it spreads a little bit too much, that's okay. Just drag it with your brush. So we're just going to let this dry before we kind of move on to any of the other details. Okay, so now that the body of our little chick is dry, we are going to take orange watercolor this time. And you're welcome to mix that orange with a little bit of yellow to dilute the intensity of it, because at least the orange that I have is quite orange and we don't want that. And I'm just going to start with the beak here. So our beak, I know we just drew a triangle. I'm going to just go a little bit closer. I know we just drew a simple triangle, but in reality, this beak is sort of going to come inwards like this. I don't know if you could see that little mini triangle that I drew on the inside there. And it's going to be curved, like these lines aren't going to be straight. They're kind of going to swoop inwards a little bit. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to switch to my size quadruple 0 Winsor Newton here. And I'm just going to kind of make that angled just like that. Then I'm going to angle this inwards, this one inwards, and finally connect it all. So it sort of looks like a kite, actually. And then you can just fill the whole thing in. I'm just going to make my beak a little bit wider. And you can really experiment with your colors here, because now I'm adding a touch of red just on the very end of my beak. And I'm just dragging some of it towards the bottom. So this part you can experiment with. You can try different colors, whatever works for you. Okay, so I'm going to leave the beak how it is for now. And then very easily we can just quickly do the cute eyeball. You're going to just leave a tiny circle in the eye because we just want it to have a little highlight. So I'm just painting a little black circle here. And then I'm outlining a tiny white circle on the inside of that eye. And it's just as easy as that. So now we're just going to move on to the legs of our little chick. And we're going to be using the same color that we used for the beak. So I'm actually going to quickly adjust my leg. I'm going to angle it a little bit more inwards to make it look like the chick is actually trying to walk. Sort of like this. Okay. And if you want, the best thing to do, what I would recommend, is just to go on the internet and look at an image of the little, I don't know what they're called. What are these called? It's escaping my head right now. You know, the little feet of chickens. Just look that up and maybe have like an actual image in front of you. But it's quite a simple process to draw those little claws, feet. And again, I'm just going to use my super detailed brush here just to add a little bit of red to the inside. Like so. And then we're going to do the same thing with this guy, the second leg. So again, this one is much shorter. So we're just going to have like the little claw is going to just extend right out. I'm going to kind of paint it that way. The leg will extend into the first claw, and then my second claw will attach to that. The third one, and this one, you can, the back one will also be visible because we want it to look like he's taking a step. Although I angled mine a little bit too much upwards. Kind of like that. And I'm going to thicken mine a little bit. Perfect. And that is basically it for our little chick. If you enjoyed this tutorial, don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Of course, don't forget to check out some of my other Easter tutorials from both present and past years. Thanks for watching, guys.